Consider this question: who really controls the creation and use of money? It's a provocative idea, isn't it? But to truly unravel this mystery, it's essential to start from the very beginning. Imagine a world without money, a place where you barter goods and services directly. You have chickens, and you need a pair of shoes, so you find someone who makes shoes and needs chickens. That's barter. But it's not exactly efficient, is it? Enter money, a universally accepted medium of exchange. It's a tool that makes trade easier, and it's something we all agree has value. But where does money come from? Who creates it? The answer might surprise you. Most people believe that governments create money, but in reality, it's the banks that create most of the money in the world. How does that work, you ask? Well, when a bank gives out a loan, it doesn't take that money from its vaults or other customers' deposits. Instead, it creates that money out of thin air by typing numbers into a computer. This is known as fractional reserve banking. Now, who controls this process? It's the central banks. These are not normal banks where you and I can open an account. Central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the United States or the Bank of England, have the power to set interest rates and control monetary policy. These institutions are independent, which means they operate outside the direct control of governments. But who controls the central banks? Here's where things get interesting. Central banks are often privately owned or controlled by a small group of individuals. Some believe these individuals are part of a global elite, manipulating the world's money supply for their own gain. Is there any truth to this? It's hard to say. Central banks operate in secrecy, and their decision-making processes are often opaque. This lack of transparency fuels speculation and conspiracy theories. So, are these controllers of money human? Yes, they are. Are they dangerous? That's subjective. The control of money can be used to stimulate economies, create jobs, and lift people out of poverty. But it can also lead to economic crashes, inflation, and wealth inequality. How do we stop them from controlling the planet? Well, one way is through financial education and awareness. Understanding how money works gives us the power to question and challenge the system. Another way is through decentralization and technologies like blockchain and cryptocurrencies, which aim to take control of money away from central banks and put it back into the hands of the people. To recap, money is a tool for trade that most of us take for granted. Its creation is largely controlled by banks through the process of fractional reserve banking. Central banks, often operating in secrecy, oversee this process. Some believe these banks are controlled by a global elite. The control of money can have both positive and negative effects on society. And finally, through financial education and new technologies, we might be able to shift the balance of power. So the next time you look at a banknote, consider this. Who really controls the creation and use of money? And more importantly, what can you do about it?